So in this episode of the Business Spotlight podcast, we're joined with David Haskett. David is the CEO of Subtera and has been leading the company since March 2019, I believe, which is bringing nearly 6 years of his experience in technology and commercial fields. And under his guidance, Subtera has been experiencing some periods of growth. So David, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you, David. Thanks for having me.
Fabulous. No, it's an absolute pleasure. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to join us and share with us a little bit about your business experience and the journey that you guys have been on. It'd be great if you could kick us off with just, a brief description of what it is that you actually do, or what Subtera actually do, what the company actually does.
We're a tech company helping the energy and processing industries to achieve net zero by detecting corrosion under insulation, which is a challenge that represents operational, financial, and potentially environmental headache to the processing industries.
So when you say detecting corrosion under insulation, what does that mean? What are you looking for?
So to save energy within the processing industries, the pipe work is insulated so that the temperature of the pipes can be maintained. Moisture inevitably finds a way in,
yes,
which causes corrosion. And then, removing all that cladding, removing all the insulation to find that potentially dangerous corrosion, there's a cost to that in time and money. So our technology is making it much easier, much more reliable and faster to detect that corrosion without the labor burden and financial cost of removing the cladding.
So yeah, absolutely. So the labor cost is huge when you're having to sort of take stuff off to find the water ingress. But there's also downtime as well for corporations, isn't it? For companies, it's the time when they're not operating at their normal efficiencies and things.
Correct. Yes.
Interesting. So what were you? I mean, have you been with the company now for let's say coming up to 6 years? What were you doing before? What's your background?
Well, by education, I'm an aeronautical engineer. I came to work at the Rutherford site a little over 20 years ago. So I'm starting to show my age with this technology. This technology was originally developed at the Rutherford site for space science applications. It was used to detect ozone depletion, and which led to the banning of CFCs in the Montreal Protocol. And then I became involved with the technology in 2002, and instead of trying to see through layers of atmosphere, we developed the technology further to see through kind of layers of clothing, but for security screening purposes, similar to what you see in the airport, similar to that.
Yeah.
And then one day someone said to us, could you tweak it further to see through layers of insulation? So for the majority of my career, I've been involved with this technology in one form or another.
Yeah.
However, I've also spent some time working with an optoelectronics manufacturer and doing some business development in other industries too.
It's interesting. I mean, I talk to a lot of business owners, and it's funny how businesses can evolve over time. So it's sort of kind of, changing and adapting to the needs of the marketplace and the customers. And there's a bit of a lesson there, isn't it? You kind of start off with an idea of what your business is in the first instance, get going, and then the marketplace changes or your customers' needs change. And it's important to adapt and evolve and follow those trends.
That's life. Change is inevitable. It's a process, and we have to manage it, But I always found that listen to your customer, listen to the market needs, kind of understand their pain points and their needs. And then what we say is fall in love with that problem.
Yeah.
And then you can develop a solution that really meets the market needs.
Find the solution that fixes their problem. Very good.
Yeah.
So over the last sort of 5-6 years, then, what would you say have been your biggest challenges with, in terms of business leadership, running Subtera, that sort of thing? What have been the biggest challenges that you've had to deal with?
Well, so I've been on a journey with Subtera to take the technology from the fundamental technology that underpins our technique through the stages of then developing a prototype to take it out into the market, work with industry, which has been great in helping us do field trials. And then so all of the learnings that come with that. Then there's been a degree of fundraising, getting investment into the business to make it happen. And then over the last 18 months, we've been on a new product development
Okay.
project where we've, again, working with industry, making sure that we understand their needs and what a product would need to do to be successful and meet their needs. And we've been developing that, but we're right now at the point of commercial launch and everything that goes with that, developing a go-to-market strategy, marketing strategy, testing, certifications, accreditations. So it's been busy.
It sounds it.
Yes.
And there's lots of challenges there with like managing the finances, the fundraising, the development, getting commercial, and actually then generating an income stream from it, from the product that you're offering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of challenges, but I have to say, I've enjoyed it. It's been a huge opportunity for personal growth. I've learned to breathe, stay calm during the process, and acknowledge that, you know, as Churchill said, you know, planning is really important, but plans are kind of pointless because change happens all the time. But make your plans, accept the challenges happen, and then find a way to calmly work through them. That's been one of the lessons I've learned over the last 5 years.
Absolutely, it's a good point, because like you say, the once you step foot on the battlefield, the plans go out the window, but the planning process is essential. Going through that process of planning is, yeah, absolutely,
it's essential.
And, you know, plans are there as a sort of guide, but actually pivoting, a bit like we were saying earlier, we're sort of changing with your sort of customer needs and things. Being able to adapt the plan and adapt the strategy is really important, but the planning process and reviewing the progress against that sort of that structure, that plan is essential.
Essential, yes.
So, you know, if you had the opportunity to wind back the clock, you know, obviously you've had quite a journey, you know, a really exciting stage in the business now with going commercial. If you had the opportunity, in the benefit of hindsight, to wind the clock back and start again, is there anything that you do differently? And if so, what sort of things would you do differently?
Truthfully, probably not. I think that we thought we had a fair understanding what the journey would look like over the last 5 years. So we put a lot of effort up front into, as we've just discussed, planning.
Yeah.
What we thought it was going to look like. And of course, in the minutiae, in the day-to-day, it changes. But generally over that time, we have it has developed the way we thought it would. So, you know, we set out 5-year, 3-year, 1 year, and quarterly and monthly goals to get to where we are. So I probably wouldn't change too much, you know.
That's good. And in terms of that sort of planning process and then delivering it, have there been any things that have like come out of the completely unexpected? You know, you like I say, you can only do so much planning and preparation. Were there any sort of instances that you kind of got, would never even foreseen that happening? Any curveballs that have come at you that are a real shock?
Yes. When I joined the business, when we first went out to the field test our first prototype, it didn't work as well as we thought it would.
Okay.
And we had to kind of go back to the drawing board a little bit and understand why that didn't happen. Go back to formula, look at the science that underpins what we do, and pivot a little bit at that underlying technology. So, you know, that was a curveball, but again, we just applied the same approach.
So the play framework, reevaluate, reassess. Yeah, very good. There's a technique that I quite like using, which is the 3 Ps in planning. So you just kind of look at what's probably going to happen, build your plan around the probability most likely, what possibly could happen. So looking at a bit of a contingency, and then is a plausible, you know, is it plausible that this might happen? It's kind of then planning for 3 eventualities and then get on with it. You know, it's kind of at some point you've got to get on and actually take action, haven't you? You can spend all time planning and not doing any action, not get anywhere.
Yes, yeah.
So how about,
I think I'll make a note of the 3 Ps.
Probable, possible, plausible.
That's a good technique.
Yeah, it's a nice framework to, again, it's that framework. So, you know, when things then happen, go back to the framework and reevaluate, and off you go again.
Yeah.
So let's take a little bit of a moment to talk about time, because, you know, as a business leader, business owners out there, other CEOs, managing directors and things like that, you know, everybody's got the same number of hours in a working day. Clearly, you've had You've had a lot going on over the last sort of 4 or 5 years. What would you say have been how have you managed that time, and how have you managed to stay productive and working on the things that are important?
That's a great question. I think I've been disciplined about it. I'm one of those people, whether I like it or not, I need a full night's sleep. So
Okay.
I need 8 hours sleep. And once you start from that premise, your day gets shorter straight away.
Yeah.
I have a family, and of course, you would need to spend time exercising, spending time with your family, walking the dog, living life. So I tend to break down my day into 3 8-hour sections.
Okay.
I need sleep, I need personal time, and then I have time dedicated to work. And I'm absolutely disciplined about it. So I know there'd be many people in my position who would advocate for working slightly longer in a day, but I don't. I do my 8 hours. I get my 8 hours sleep, and then I spend 8 hours on my personal life. And that's how I've managed my time to get to this point.
What I like about that is, like you say, you've got the clear structure, but you've got the discipline as well, because it's so tempting to just, I just need to do, I just need to, and there's another meeting, or like you say, and the 8 hours work sort of stretches, doesn't it? It's very difficult to get out of that trap once you're in it.
It is, but it is a trap, and I've been caught in it before, and to the detriment of myself and of course then my family as well, because you're getting to spend less time with them, and then it's just not beneficial. So over the years, I've learned to be disciplined, and in the 8 hours when I'm working, and then I can sign off knowing that I've achieved what it is I wanted to achieve that day.
Psychologically, I think that's quite powerful, isn't it? Because you then don't spend the time, or it's less tempting to spend the time in your head thinking I should be at work doing, or when you're at work I should be with the family doing.
Exactly.
If you commit and focus, and actually, I've done my 8 hours, psychologically I'm now in a different, absolutely, very powerful. So team wise then, so obviously you can't take the business where you want to get to on your own. You need to have a team around you. I think you're sort of from talking to you the other day, you're sort of around 10 team members on board, plus board members, and plus sort of third suppliers and subcontractors and external support sources. What sort of things do you do to look, or what do you look for to get the right team members, and what sort of things do you do then to create a high performing culture within the organization?
Communication is key.
Okay.
I'm an advocate of hiring adults and then treating people as adults.
Okay.
So I share with them as much information as I can, so that they understand the what and the why of what we're doing. When it comes to building that team, I did some reading about Google's hiring process before I started building the team. And the two main takeaways from that process were they look for whether someone has the ability to do a job well. And secondly, are they a right cultural fit? And I tend to apply that technique. So I'm not necessarily so bothered if the person has done a specific job before. What I'm interested in is if they have the capability to do the job. And if they have the capability to do the job, are they the right kind of person for our organization? Again, I'm looking for people, and I say this to the team, I'm not looking for someone to burn the midnight oil. I have learned the benefit of balance in my life. And I want the entire Subtera team to benefit from having balance in their life. So what we're looking for is people who are capable of doing a job, and then in the right cultural fit, that they can come in, work for the 8 hours or the 7.5 hours per day, as it were, and then go home and live their lives. So, kind of relaxed people with integrity is they're a given. That's what we're looking for.
Sounds like you're building a really nice culture there. And I think Google are really successful in the fact that they get a lot of people wanting to work for Google because of that sort of culture that they created and that environment they've created. And it gives you then the choice of high performing people to come onto the team based on their capability and
yes, yeah. I can't offer all of the perks that Google offer, but we're located.
Yeah, one day.
That's exactly it. We're located at the Rutherford Appleton Laboratory here in Oxfordshire, which is a world-class campus with fantastic facilities, lots of investment happening here, and it's got that really great campus feel. So it's a nice place to work, and it's a real benefit it's a real plus that we get to offer our employees the chance to work in this kind of innovative ecosystem, and they've got a great canteen which also goes down well.
Very good. I quite like that word capability that you use though, and actually looking for the capability, because that's quite a subtle difference to having the skills or the expertise in that field, isn't it? Because you don't necessarily need to have the specific knowledge or skills to be capable. You can learn those skills and that knowledge, but the capability is there to be able to take on those skills. I like that. It's really good.
That's it. If someone is prepared to learn and demonstrates that those core abilities, then it doesn't matter if they've done the exact job before. The right person will find a way to to deliver in the new job.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Let's take a moment to have a look at the future. Where are you heading? What's the sort of future hold for you guys? Obviously, you're going commercial. What does that look like over the next 5 years for you?
So we're launching commercially in June. We've taken a good look at the industry and how other similar sized businesses launched technology into the industry, and we've learned from the strategies that those other companies employed. So what we've done is we've crafted a strategy from their learnings. So we will introduce a small service initially rather than just the product, so that we can support customers through that initial evaluation period. So our engineers, fully trained to use our equipment, can provide those trials and support early adopters before we move into that product revenue stage. So that's what our next couple of years looks like. On the business front. So we think that there's global demand for our product, but initially we're going to focus on our home market, which is the UK and North Sea countries, so Norway, Denmark, the Netherlands as well.
Very good.
And then slowly grow from there.
Again, I quite like that strategy, because building that sort of slower growth, integrating with your existing technicians, it allows you to then build the systems to scale the deployment of the products and services on a greater scale, because you build the systems for other people to run the systems to onboard and things like that. Really clever. And
of course, as soon as you look to expand into other territories, whether that be into North America, Europe, the Middle East, customers in those markets will ask you about adoption within your home market.
Yeah, good point.
It's important to make sure that you've made a success of working with your home customers first.
Yeah, very true. Really good. I'm really excited to keep an eye out on your progress over the next few years and things. So thank you for spending the time out of your day to share some of your learnings. Just so our listeners know where to go to sort of get in touch if they want to, or keep track of your progress, where can they go to find out a bit more about Subtera and be in touch?
Our website is subtera.tech, and we're also on LinkedIn as well. And we have a YouTube channel with one video on it at the moment, but it will give you an introduction to what we do as a business and how customers can use our technology.
Very good. There you go. David, thank you again for your time.
Great to chat to you. Thank you, David.